Hello guys, I'll be making a short video of the knockoff or KO maketoys Green Giant. For my first video, I'll be making a review on the individual bots themselves, pros, cons, and if there's a difference from the original. Okay. Mind you though that I don't actually have the original maketoys Green Giant, but I actually read some reviews or watched some YouTube videos, so I have a idea on what the original looks like. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the review. Okay, first review natin, or our first review would be Long Haul. Okay, which is the torso of the Constructicons. And so far, as you can see, Long Haul is actually looks good. Okay, it's actually very close to the original Constructicons. Yeah. Now, even the face, the head sculpt. Okay, just goes from here for you to see. Let me just adjust that. So not sure if it can zoom in, but yeah, as you can see, the head sculpt actually looks nice on this kit. Smooth paint job with all the small details. So, tulad pa rin ng original. Okay. Now, articulation wise, it still has the same articulation as the original. I'm not so sure if this is part of the original as well, because the downside is if you swivel this arm, these two arms, sometimes they get loosed and tend to open up. Okay, so the joint will become a bit loose at times, so you have to, from time to time, you actually need to close this again so that it will be tight on more than one occasion. Waist swivel on the ratchet joint, it's good. Legs also on the ratchet joint. Same goes with the knee part. Also, okay, this I'm not so sure if this is normal, but from time to time palati siya natatanggal or it gets removed if you move the legs, so you have to carefully put it back in. Okay, from time to time, but as you can see, knee joints are at a ratchet. Now, the only downside na napansin ko dito ng kit na to would be, okay, because everything is in a ratchet joint on the lower part, tapos okay naman yung ratchet joint lahat. Yung problema lang talaga niya, or the only problem that I find it would be, okay, no issue, FYI, no issue with the head, it's in a ball joint. The issue is this part. Okay, when you look at the left leg, I don't know if it's just on my kit or this goes to everyone, but when you're pulling the legs out, okay, it's a bit hard. Okay, you actually need to apply a lot of force to let it move. Okay, but on the right one, it's quite easy. Not much force needed. It's just on the left leg where you need to apply extra force to move it. You can hear the stress of my sound. I'm using a lot of force here, and I could imagine that it would break any time. Okay, but other than that, that is actually the only issue that I find with this kit. Okay. Like I said, this is one of my favorite because it's very good, well detailed, close to the original from looks, and doesn't have much of an issue. I mean, the arm, that's not an issue. That's easy to fix. Okay, the legs, well, yes, this may be hard, but if you're just going to pose him as is without the need to move him too much, that won't be a problem for you. Okay, so yeah, Long Haul is one of my favorite because other than he's a buff character, he's also very well detailed with very minimal issue, as in very minimal. Okay. So that so then that ends for the first bot. This is just a short review, FYI. And again, I don't have the original maketoys Green Giants. I'm just trying to point pros and cons in the knockoff kit. Yeah. So onwards to the next bot. Okay, next character on the list is actually one of my favorite characters from the Transformers series, is Scrapper, okay, or the leader of the Constructicons. Now, this figure from posing it actually looks awesome, but I'm just going to start off with the cons, okay? The con part of this figure, okay, alright, let me just try to explain. The pros is it just looks awesome, almost looks awesome, but the cons would be, okay, I'm not sure if this is just limited to my figure, but if you look closely to the pin on this one, okay, it's actually not, okay, here, this is a straight angle view. If you look at the line, it's actually not aligned. Okay, this one is a bit pointing towards out. Okay, it's because of this middle pin, it's not pushed in well. Now if I try to push it in, okay, I might be able to break something because as you can see, there's already a stress mark on the plastic on this side. See the clear, so I quit pushing it in, knowing that it might damage or break itself. Other cons would be leg, on the right leg. I don't know if it's just, this is just limited on my kit, but the right leg is so, as in there's no, see, it's so loose, so it's sometimes difficult to let him stand up. Okay. Then the other cons is these joints here where the legs are connected. Originally they're a bit too thick, to the point that if you just nudge them a little, they just pop out. So what I did on my kit is I actually got a hobby knife and I actually cut a few. Binabawasan ko yung mass. Okay, I actually cut off the plastic to make it a little more small, a bit more slimmer, smaller, to fit nicely there and would lock in place. And now they're okay. I can just now move the whole swivel on the foot part with no issues. Okay. The other con that I had was with this. I'm not sure if this is also limited on my kit, but if you look closely on the hand, this one versus this one. Yes, if you notice it, I actually got two right hands. Dalawa, two right hands instead of getting a left. Okay, now I don't know if this is just limited to my kit or this happened to someone else, but so far I'm guessing that it's just on my kit, since I don't see any posts about other people getting two right hands. Okay? How lucky of me. Okay. But besides that con, other articulation is actually good, like this part, swivel, leg, head, whole joint. Okay, so everything else is actually good. It's just those cons that I mentioned. is the problem. Okay, those are the only cons that I found on my sets. Okay. Without those cons, this would have been a very perfect scrapper that is very close to the original with all the details and whatnot. Even the head sculpt is actually finely detailed. Here, let me try to get a lighting better for you to see clearly. Okay, look at the head sculpt. Okay, it's a bit dark, yes, but there. Look at the head sculpt. That is so scrapper. G1 scrapper. Again, it would have been awesome if it didn't have those cons. Okay. So, other than that, that's it. So let's move on to the next spot. Alright, next we have is Mixmaster. Now, from one point, posability and all, Mixmaster actually looks awesome. Okay? I mean, with all the fine details he has as a cement truck colors, he also have this details on his chest, which is also close to the G1 series. Face or head sculpt actually looks good. I like the detail. Okay. It does look like Mixmaster from G1. Now, for some downside with the KO version, okay, they almost got it perfectly. Downside, legs. Okay, I don't know if it's just on my kit. Legs are sometimes too soft and it can't. Okay, this one is hard, good, but this one is so soft. Okay, I'm not even sure. Sometimes it can't even support its own weight. Okay. Swivel on both joints are very loose, okay, which is also scary. The foot swivel is good. Okay, it's not that soft or anything wrong. It's just that the swivel on the legs and on the ball joint. Okay, nothing that I can't fix. Okay, you can try fixing it by putting floor polisher to add mass so that it can become tighter. Okay. Another problem, I don't know if this is normal, but on my kit or on the knockoff kit, this doesn't actually go all the way down straight. Okay, as you see, it's a bit shooting up. Okay, because I was actually expecting this would be straight down. Or it's just like that. Okay, I'm not so sure. Arm swivel, and articulation is good. Now, another con is this part. It's not really a very heavy con, but supposedly this should lay flat, but sometimes it's just paps out. Okay, this happens on both arm. Okay, it doesn't stay down. And another con that I was actually having issues here, the head is on a ball joint and it's actually easy to move. The other con that I actually have here would be this part, because when you combine them and try to detach the leg, okay, this one doesn't actually, you actually need to push these two to unlock it so that you can remove the leg, but this one doesn't actually push in. It's just there as a display. This one works on the bottom part, but on the top part, this won't work. It's only for display purposes only. So imagine removing the leg if you're disassembling them is very tough and you might break it. Okay. Right. So, other than the pros and cons that I've already mentioned, again, this is just a short video, short review on each of these kits. Robots, that is the only con that I found in Mixmaster. But besides those, he is actually a cool figure. A wide range of possibilities. you can actually pose him in many ways because of his unique articulation. But again, be careful because the ball joints here are quite loose, as well as the swivel joints on the legs are also loose, so it's quite easy for him to fall down. Okay. So other than that, this is also one of my favorite figures because of the height and because of the fine details that they got from G1. So that's it for Mixmaster. Onwards to the next one. Alright, and this is the fourth figure, or the fourth member of the Green Giant series, Bone Crusher. Okay, now I would say Bone Crusher is actually one of my favorite here in the set, because for Bone Crusher, if you already watched the original review, he's actually the same as the original. Okay, it has all the details of a, okay, I'm not sure what kind of truck he is, but bottom line, it actually has a lot of fine details here. Articulation wise, there is no problem with the KO Bone Crusher for articulation. Leg is in a knee joint is in a ball joint, okay, which you can rotate it, and that like a knee swivel, leg swivel. The foot, you can also rotate the foot due to the transformation. Rotate this one as well, and the legs are in a ball joint, which can go up to here, vice versa, and front, and this is the back. Arm articulation is tight and good, but in a good way. Tight in a good way, which is good. Elbow joint, and also, okay, this is probably the one part that I would actually need to mention. It's kind of a bit hard. Okay, you might be able to hear that. It's quite a bit hard to rotate his arm, okay, because they're too tight, but no complaints of that. It's better than being loose. Okay. But overall, head is also in a ball joint and not very loose, which is good. And look at if you take a look at the mold, okay, it actually has a very fine detail of Bone Crusher there, with the angry look. Okay, so for Bone Crusher, thumbs up. Okay, actually thumbs up for this one. There's actually no problem, unlike the rest of the kit that I was actually experiencing. For Bone Crusher, no issue at all. Okay, so thumbs up for this. Onwards to the next one. Okay, now we have here is Scavenger. This is technically almost the same mold as Bone Crusher, or I mean the same articulation. Okay, but detail wise, it's close to the original. Has that fine silver color here, which the same as the G1 series. For this one, there were some light issues that I would like to mention. Num marks. Okay, well, what do you expect? It's a KO version of Green Giant, so there are bound to be num marks like this. But articulation wise, it's the same as Bone Crusher. Knee is in the ball joint. Foot, you can rotate it. Arms are quite solid, very solid, tight joints, tight ball joint there. Okay, you can actually see how I'm struggling, but they're in a tight ball joint in a good way. Okay, which is good. Head is also in a ball joint, no problem rotating that. The arm, oops, sorry for the camera. You can rotate his hand, which is also good. Elbow, you can go away as much as this because of the transformation, but overall that's good. Now, just a heads up, if you do have the original Scavenger, you are aware that one of the weapons, this one specifically, can be equipped to Scavenger in here specifically, but there is a problem. Okay, or I'm not so sure if it's just with my kit, but it doesn't actually fit. Because if you look, okay, let me try to make it clear. If you look closely, the hole where this should go in is actually quite small. It's so small, or I mean shorter compared to this. So no matter what I do, it won't fit in, unless of course if I have to cut or make the hole bigger manually, which is a very difficult process to do, and it might damage the paint and all that. So instead I just leave it as it is. Okay, he doesn't have a weapon, so I gave this weapon to, on my previous video, to Bone Crusher. But other than that, everything else is actually good. This is also a very good articulated model of from the original Green Giant. Okay, for KO it has a very good articulation. Head sculpt, okay, so that you'll have a better idea how he looks. There, that's Scavenger, okay, which is also good. Right, so there you have it. There you have it. We have Scavenger for the Constructicons. Alright, now down to the last member of the Green Giant or Constructicons would be Hook. This is actually the upper part of Devastator. Okay, and picture pose, Hook is actually good. Okay, he looks good, honestly. Now, some cons, again, I'm not sure if this is just my kit or this is common to all KO Green Giants, but for my issue is, okay, just the swivel, the leg swivel. This one is tight, but this one is a bit loose, so letting him stand up sometimes can be difficult. And the other issue that I'm actually having, or the major issue, is this one, the torso area. It doesn't actually lock in place. It's, if you can see there, okay, it's okay. You can see that there's a gap there. It might be too small, but it doesn't lock in place. So if you move him about like so, he just pops off. See, he just pops off. So that's one of my major concerns I tried to fix him by adding mass and all that, and so far no luck. Okay, now other than that problem, the other issue that I'm actually having for him would be this, the ball joint here on his left shoulder. The ball here is actually quite big, so if I move his arm, okay, see what happens. If I move his arm even just a bit, it would actually come off. Now I have to put it back every time I'm going to change his position or pose. Okay, again, every time I move it, see that. Goodness. So what I did on my end is I sand it using sandpaper just to reduce the mass, and so far not working. I think I still need to do a lot more of that just so it would fit. Okay. But other than that, this would have been a very good figure if it didn't have those flaws. Also, there's another flaw. Okay, there. This here, yeah, it's correct that it should lock on here, but unfortunately it's kind of a bit loose. Like if you just move it for a bit, it just pops off, or come off to be specific. And according to box art, as you can see here, let me just move the camera a bit. As you can see here, you can actually put the Hulk on the shoulder. Now there is another problem with that. You can attach the Hulk here from here. Now the problem is, okay, take a look. The problem is it doesn't stay in place. Look, I put it there and it just pops out. Okay, I think this is just a bit too big compared to the space that is accommodated here, so I need to cut off a bit more of this mass. It won't stick, it just comes off, so that's why I just put it right here, well, for display purposes. Okay. Face, my head is on a ball joint and it's good, but sometimes when I rotate it too much, the face actually comes off. I'm not sure if it's just my kid, but that's practically the only issue that I'm having with hook here. Okay, that would be his arm and his torso, as well as the attachment for the hook and also the ball joint. But other than that, without those issues, hook would have been a great model. Oh, and just a heads up, comparing to the original, you notice that on Hook's foot it's black. Now in the original it's supposed to be green. That's because we can't use the other head on the knockoff Green Giant because it can't be transformed to a foot due to its unique make. Okay, I'll show it to you in another video once I combine them into Devastator so that you'll know what I mean. But for now, that is my comment or review for this model for Hook. Okay. And that ends my review for the individual robots for the KO maketoys Green Giant, or aka Devastator. Okay, so I'm going to post another video in their combined mode so that I'll be able to show you the pros and cons for the KO maketoys Green Giant. So I'll upload it the soonest I can. Okay. Till next time.